Welcome back to the Rufus Trials on Ascended Together, where we have over 12 creators working together through the story maps. I'm out on my boat taming one of these male deer creatures. In this episode, I'm going to catch you up on some of the things I've been working on that didn't really seem like a full episode. These are great runners and can jump really far, making it pretty easy to get away from most things. You can also shoot a bow while riding, which makes them very helpful at taming. In order to get an oviraptor so I can start collecting eggs to start making some kibble, I need to get a bunch of eggs. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to breed a bunch of dodos. On this server, the breeding settings have been boosted significantly, so it only took me a little while to get a whole bunch of eggs. Then it's just a matter of finding, knocking out, and feeding the eggs to the oviraptor. Next, I wanted to get a breeding pair of frogs. The frog creature is also something you can shoot from while riding, and it can jump really high, so it can be a great creature to have to help you tame things. They also have the ability to harvest cementing paste from most bug creatures, which can be a real time saver. I was fortunate to find a male and female in this ravine. This ravine was guarded by a triceratops, which was no problem. But there was also an alpha therizinosaur nearby that I thought might cause some trouble. But I was able to get them both, head back to start breeding them in this well-protected little pool in the rocks my base is built on. Rather than just use creatures I tame, I'll often breed them out and only use the offspring. This allows me to breed out some backups in case something should go wrong when I'm out and about. As you can see, this base is a bit more than just my campsite that I had for a while. Using my boat to go gather a lot of resources allowed me to construct this pretty quickly, and it serves as better protection to the outside elements. I ran into one of those outside elements when I was building this base. I was just plopping down some of the foundation when I started to hear this strange sound. I hadn't seen this creature before, but I felt it was a bit too close to home, so I thought I'd try killing it from this safe location under the walkway I was building. Turns out, it wasn't such a safe location. I quickly respawned and decided to try finishing it off. I would have liked to try taming it, but that really wasn't the mood I was in. I was trying to build my base, and this thing looked awfully threatening. I started off by shooting some trank arrows, thinking that if I could knock it out, maybe I could try to tame it. But I think the spyglass here may be a bit off on some of these modded creatures, because although it said knockout, it seemed that what I was doing wasn't adding to its torpor at all. I'm at least glad that I had this structure here that I did. It seemed to at least confuse it enough that it couldn't get up to me. So I kept shooting it. I also kept wondering if it was going to tear my base to bits. With that out of the way, I could keep working on my base. Later, I had this idea to get baby creatures by trying to convince the parents to fight so I could grab the baby. Lead one down to the ravine and then the other, and just let them duke it out and see who wins. I can't grab a baby of a Gigantoraptor this way, but if the other one loses, I can grab that baby. Ark Survival Ascended introduced this idea of baby creatures, and while this sometimes feels like cheating, it's a totally valid way to tame a creature. Give it a try. I thought I'd get a few male counterparts to my female egg-producing creatures. To make all the different kinds of kibble, you need to have certain eggs. So having a male and female set of each type of egg you need means that you can breed them out if you need to. This guy decided to get in my way while I was looking for creatures I needed. So I decided, if I lived through it, to add him to my team. Moschops is my preferred egg producer for the superior kibble type. They're pretty easy to tame, and yet they produce an egg that helps you get a lot of great creatures. Then I saw this crazy thing and decided to try knocking it out too. But the Sabertooth had other plans. I think the Sabertooth might be guarding it. Well done. By this time, I was able to go and collect all the things that I had finished taming and continue moving on with my journey. I decided to head over to Crazy Island. That's not its official name, but it's located in the northeast of the map and is filled with, well, crazy creatures. One of the crazy creatures I saw from one of the installed mods is a gigantic scorpion that you can build a mobile base on. So when I saw it, I did what any ordinary survivor would do. I started shooting it. This creature had a large amount of torpor that needs to be filled before it gets knocked out, and it moves toward me most of the time, so I had to pretty much keep flying back and forth to the different sides of this little island until I was able to knock it out. Sometimes it would seem to get stuck in a spot for a moment, which let me get several shots in before needing to move again. That was helpful. It was also very cold here, so a couple of times I had to fly out of this area and heal a bit so that I didn't die of the cold. This is one of those tames that just takes a long time because of all the amount of shots you have to take, and needing to fly back and forth also adds a lot of time. This may have been one of the times to use that deer creature or the frog because I can shoot from it and still keep moving around. Perhaps the next time I try to tame one of these, I'll give that a shot. Usually creatures that start to run away are a bit closer to being knocked out, so in this case, I also had to do some extra work in keeping it from running away. Oops, I guess I cut that one a bit too close. Too much of that and my Pteranodon will actually get knocked out, or me if it hits me. That would make things a bit more difficult because I don't know if I could outrun this thing on foot, and I don't really want to try. With enough diligence and the benefit of this getting stuck on some rocks from time to time, I was finally able to get it knocked out. There we go. Give it some taming food and then just wait. The creature was pretty secluded on this island with nothing else roaming around that would cause trouble, so it seemed safe enough to leave it. Now I was able to monitor the progress using the taming tracker from my base. And then I saw this message reminding me that the server would restart soon. It's one of the settings configured for this server. It gives me a 60-second warning, which isn't a lot of time, but it's important to know that nothing happens when the server isn't running. So, as long as you're in a safe location, there's nothing to worry about. The idea is that the server will restart and perform some actions on the next startup. One of those actions is to do a wild dino wipe, which will basically cause all the existing dinos to despawn and new dinos to spawn in their place. This isn't supposed to affect dinos that are in the middle of being tamed. But unfortunately, something did happen, and when I got logged back in, the giant scorpion was nowhere to be found. So I'll have to try that again in a future episode. Thanks for watching. See you next time.